Today's video is all about meal planning when you're a neurodivergent multiple, so keep watching if you need some helpful tips. Welcome to AuDHDID, a channel dedicated to autism, ADHD and dissociative identity disorder. We've been talking about routine and Maslow's hierarchy of needs. This week we're going to start to tie this together in a practical way by looking at the food need and setting up a system to support your routine of food shopping and cooking. In one of my shorts I shared that separating overwhelming tasks into 3 stages, deciding, preparing and doing, can be helpful. Today we're going to start applying the deciding phase to food. I recommend that the first time you meal plan, you think about finding recipes with your favourite ingredients in them. Having these recipes that use the same ingredients means that you'll have less inventory to manage at home, less things that you have to remember to buy, and hopefully they will get used up before going bad. The more intentional you are, the easier this system will become. Think about a balance of health and sensory safe foods. You'll need to pick some carbohydrates, some protein, a small amount of healthy fats and lots of vegetables to make up a rounded diet. To maintain eating when energy is low, you might also need to plan for some healthy snacks as well as your meals. The meal planner I use is a free resource from the Minimal Mum. I will leave a link in the description box below in case you want to check it out. Once you've picked your recipes, add them to your meal planner. I have about 14, so we can rotate meals enough to not feel like we're eating the same things over and over again. Next, you need to make a grocery list. Write down all of the fruits and veggies from the recipes you like, then some of the carbs, proteins and so on. The meal planner I use is structured by the aisle that they belong in the supermarket, so chilled, canned, frozen, etc. This makes it so that I can go into any store and know what I need to pick up in that section. It stops me wandering around feeling confused, and if I dissociate or get distracted in the shop, I can reorient myself back to where I got up to. I just need to check that section. Don't forget to add all of the other items like oil, vinegar and spices, as well as any household things you need like toilet roll. This will be the template that we use from now on every single week. Next, decide how you want to complete the shopping list. So I personally use my iPad with an Apple Pencil, and I can literally just highlight the recipes for that week and the ingredients I need, and it syncs with my phone. So all I need to do is make sure I've downloaded it before I leave the house because the signal's not great in the shop. I like this because I always take my phone with me and I won't leave home without my list. But if you don't have Apple tech, maybe you could print off and circle them each week, or do that on your phone if it's not too much of a small screen for you. If you end up making a paper list though, just think of a routine that will help you remember to take it with you. So that could be you put it straight in your backpack or fold it up and put it in your wallet as soon as you've made the list. Now we've got to the point where we've set up the system and we need to follow it. So this is what helps me decide what to choose each week. I open up my fridge and I have a look at what's left. So if I've got peppers, for example, I'm probably going to make fajitas unless there's only a couple, and then I'll put them in salad. So I'd circle the fajita meal on my meal plan, and then I'd go through the kitchen and see, do I have the spices, the wraps, the salad, onions, etc. to make that whole meal. And anything I'm missing, that's what goes on the shopping list. When you're looking at the recipes, you need to make notes of the amounts needed of each of the ingredients and then times that by the amount of portions you need. I just add this as a little note next to the item that I've highlighted, for example 100 grams of rice or 4 apples. Usually the fridge leftovers will give me at least 1 or 2 meals, which saves me a bit of mental energy and uses stuff up. Then I look in the freezer, and if it's very full, I'll pick 2 meals from things in the freezer, and I'll do the same checking for ingredients process. I'll try to make sure that I have at least 2 easy meals for each person per week in case I have a bad pain day. And sometimes I just haven't managed to meal prep before a flare up, so packet rice and lentils or even beans on toast could be a good option. A finished list will need 1 breakfast, 1 lunch and a dinner for every day between now and when you next plan to go shopping. Once you've checked the fridge, the freezer and the pantry, you'll probably have a few meals down already. And if you go shopping weekly, you'll need 7 of each. And if you go bi-weekly, it'll be 14. We will also need to check what household items have been used up. I generally add these to the list as I'm using them up when they're getting near the end. You need to make sure that your meal plan and shopping list are completed before you go shopping. We do ours the night before, because if we leave longer gap than that, we start using things up and forget to go back and do it again. Pick a shopping day and time that suits you. This will form part of your routine and give your parts that stability of food being available. Then pick a time to plan and fill out the plan the day before or just before you go shopping. Personally, I like to keep them separate because it helps with the overwhelm, but pick something that works for you. Maybe you make an agreement that one part does the shopping list and the other part does the shopping. Then just before I go to the shop, I do one last check to notice the space left in the fridge or the freezer. We need that space to store what we're going to buy and the prep meals that we're going to make. And this is also important if you share a house with other people, to check that they haven't bought home shopping the night before and filled up the fridge when you're not looking, husband. I hope that you found something in this video helpful, and if you have another way of meal planning that works for you, please share it below. This is just my way of doing it and it might not work for everyone. So the more examples, the better. I'm going to cover meal prepping and cooking in separate videos. Things like how to make chopped veg last in the fridge and what gadgets make chopping and cooking safer. So please subscribe if you're interested, and hopefully I'll see you next time. Take care.